Alright, for fairing removal, yeah, these two guys up here, they're black-headed 4mm Allens. Your chrome or your stainless-headed 4mm Allens here. And then you have these three clips down here, 1, 2, 3. Just insert a screwdriver and twist, you'll get them. And then you have 3 nylon rivet clips up along the turn signal. It's 1, 2, and 3. Oil drain bolt. You can loosen this if you want to. I don't think there's a need to, so I'm just gonna hit this real quick. Make sure you're aware where the crush washer is. Usually, if I think that oil is going to spill onto the exhaust, I grab a piece of aluminum foil. I think it's protruding out far enough from the exhaust to where I don't need to do that on this bike. Alright. Nothing terrible so far. We'll let that drain. And pop open the fill cap. Alright, so we're finishing up the draining from the drain bolt. Kind of what I alluded to a second ago. I like to put aluminum foil here just to protect the exhaust so you don't have a bunch of burning oil once you start the bike up. This is actually pretty good access once you remove the side fairing for this bike. And do the coolant, the water pump. Pretty good access once you get the right fairing off. And you don't even have to take the left fairing off for the drain bolt, but you can use this guy or a socket of some sort. Let's see how this treats us. Yeah, not too bad at all. I thought I could get it with my hands. Guess not quite yet. That should be enough to get it off the rest of the way. And yeah, just that little bit of foil keeps that little bit of oil off her exhaust, and that's what we're shooting for here. Throw that guy there. First thing I do is I like to get a light in here, make sure I don't see anything crazy going on down here. Metal particles, any scrapes on the seating surface where the O-ring on the filter mates up, and everything looks pretty clean. Alright, so we've got our drain bolt off, fill cap is cleaned up. Sometimes these crush washers get a little stubborn on here. I just like to throw them in a vise instead of doing a bunch of crazy stuff to get it off. I just let the vise hold the crush washer. That joint usually just spins out pretty easily. Garbage, fresh crush washer. Clean him up. Make sure you don't have any metal particles or shavings on the edge of your drain bolt. This one isn't magnetic. Usually the magnetic ones catch it better and show you. But that guy's ready to go. That guy's ready to go. And I like to take the filter. My hands are all slippery with these gloves on. Take the filter. And just make sure there's no burrs on the threads. I'll make sure this is clean and this is lubed, which it is. There's different preferences on what to do at this point. I like to just charge the filter a little bit with some oil. Not all the way, but just enough to get into the cartridge and get it to where it's lubed up just a little bit. Alright, oil filter's ready. I like to clean that surface a little bit before I throw the filter back on. And again, I'm just making sure everything is smooth here, the threads feel smooth. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to spin on. I don't want anything bad to happen here. And then pre-oiled just a hair, gasket sealing surface is lubed up just a hair. Spin this guy on real quick. Always by hand. And guidance is contact, and then half a turn to 3/4 of a turn. Which is half a turn's right there. It should not be over tightened. Should not be done with a tool, even though most people do. Alright, similar situation on the drain bolt side. Again, I like to wipe everything down. Make sure the sealing surface is clean, flat, no shenanigans. Got my clean drain bolt with a fresh crush washer. I'm going to thread this in by hand. Usually like to get that last bit of oil right after I plug it on the sealing surface with a towel, just so it's staying nice and dry. Spin this guy on. And then, depending on what I'm working on, drain bolt torque specs are typically between 16 and 22 foot-pounds. I usually set them right around 17 to 18. They're not going to fly off. Again, I don't know why people over torque them, but that's good for me. And I always make it a habit to get the oil pan out of the way as soon as possible, because spilling them is definitely not fun and something you don't even want to do once in your life. Alright, clean surface, clean funnel, throw that bad Johnny in. We're going to add oil. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm typically watching the oil fill window, just to make sure it's appearing to go up in a logical manner. So in this case, it's just catching up with the amount that I'm pouring in. So the manual calls for 1.9 US quarts at filter change. So I'm going to add right around a 1.5, and I'm going to start the bike and run it, verify the oil pressure light does not stay on, and then just adjust between the upper and the lower limit marks on the window. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start it up. One important thing is the bike needs to be level when you do this, when you're verifying the oil window, I should say. And what we're looking for is this light to go out, which it did. So we'll let it run for a few minutes, shut off, verify there's no dripping or leaking, and then check the level in the oil window. Alright, so the bike has settled, or the oil level has settled. The bike's been off for about 2 minutes. Verified that the oil filter is clean and dry, and the drain bolt on the other side is clean and dry. My second quart has about 6 to 7 ounces remaining in it, so this is a good logic check. It makes sense that it needs just a little bit more oil, because it should take 1.9 US quarts at filter change. So we're just going to watch the oil level in the window, and we're going to go to that upper limit line. Again, the bike has to be perfectly flat, straight and level to do this check. It can't be angled one way or another. It can't be on a stand, like a pit bull stand. And that feels like 1.9 quarts. And I'm pretty comfortable with that. So fortunately with the fairings, it's a lot easier to put them back on typically than to take them off, because when you're taking them off, you feel like you're going to break these clips. whereas when you're putting them back on, you're just snapping them together. But she'd connect or disconnect the turn signal connection. I forgot to mention that earlier. So we're just clipped in right now with the turn signal connection, and then this 4mm Allen will hold everything in place while I put these ones on, and then the nylon rivet clips along the inside and the 3 on the bottom, and then this guy right here, and then our frame slider will go back on.